The big topic that I've been hearing from you guys is how to choose a niche as a copywriter. All right, we are about 14 minutes into this call, and I'm going to make a note so that anybody watching the replay can come back to this point. So let's talk about choosing a niche as a copywriter. I think there are two options, and bring something up here so we can have something to look at as well. And let me do this real quick. There we go. All right, so make this bigger. Let's talk some notes, and then we'll go look at some examples for this piece. All right, so let's talk about this. Choosing a niche as a copywriter. Okay, so first things first, you need to answer a couple questions about yourself. How experienced are you? Okay, plain and simple, how long have you been actually writing copy? In the sense you've been working with me, you've been handwriting assignments out every single day for about 60 days now. You've probably got close to 40 handwritten assignments. You've been writing assignments every week, which means you have about 6 written assignments at this point after you turn this one in. So you've written a lot of copy, you've practiced a lot of copy. How experienced are you? How many clients have you worked with? All right, so are you a raw noob, which means no practice, no clients, no results? Are you a apprentice? Lots of practice, no or a few clients, some results. Okay, that's your apprenticeship. Are you a journeyman? Lots of practice, a dozen or so clients, some great results, plus some normal results. Okay? Are you a master? Okay, with practice is a given. You have 50 plus clients, lots of great results, some flops, mostly awesome. Okay? And then finally, are you an artisan? You've done 100 plus projects, mostly great results, very few flops now, and extreme confidence in your ability to write in any niche. Okay, my guess is that most of you here are apprentices. Now, some of you, like Matthew Forte, I believe you've written for copy. Nick Lucarepa, I believe you've written for clients before. Michaela, you've written for clients. Some of you have written for clients. You may be at this journeyman stage right here. Lots of practice, dozen or so clients, things like that. So I think that if you're at one of these two stages, you fall in the option to do two things. And I'm going to tell you the pros and the cons of both of those things, all right? The first thing that you can do is choose a specific industry or niche to specialize in. Okay? That's option one. Let's talk about that real quick. Option one. Choose a specific niche or industry to specialize in. Now, you can choose a couple different industries. There's the big three of direct response, which are relationships and dating, financial and business, and health and fitness. Okay? Relationships and dating, there are tons of offers for, a lot of the time there's some personal development in here. There's PUA stuff, which it's up to you. I don't recommend it at all. There's there's the coaching and women's empowerment and that sort of world, things like that. There's tons of sub niches underneath these major niches. So you can start looking and seeing which ones yours fall under. I would say the personal development falls under relationships and dating because it's more personal and it's not focused on financial or health at that point. Financial and business, so not only do you have financial newsletters like Agora and Stansberry, places like that, but you also have marketing and internet marketing, you have business coaching, you have SaaS businesses and software, you have all sorts of stuff like that. Again, hundreds and hundreds of sub-niches everywhere here, and then with health and fitness, it's pretty obvious. You have fitness courses, and personal training, you have health and nutrition, you have supplements, you have physical products for workouts, stuff like that. These are the big three. Physical products actually aren't relevant to information marketing. And also, Evan Pagan has a really good set of videos if you can go out and find them. Usually sets them up for a launch, but Evan Pagan talks about these big three in a lot more detail if you want more specificity. The reason I start with information marketing is because information marketing is primarily a direct response industry, which means they benefit the most from sales copy, true sales copy. There's a lot of industries that can benefit from sales copy but don't know anything about it, and they think that branding works better for them, outreach and all SEO or whatever, things like that can benefit from copy, but it's a harder sell to sell your services as a copywriter to those industries. Now, if you can, it sometimes works really well because you get great results that they're not normally getting. However, it's harder to sell it to them because they feel that direct response is a little more aggressive than they want to go, and it's just it's kind of a pain in the butt to try and teach someone about it and then do it for them. So those are the big three of information marketing. Obviously, you also have all physical products. You have B2B products. So that means business to business. I'm going to increase the size of this a little bit so you guys can see it just fine. Let's see what we got here. And that's way too big. 24. Yeah, let's do 24. And let's get this bigger here. Cool. All right. So again, you guys are probably at this stage here, and you can choose from one of these niches that I'm offering you here: physical products, business to business, and you can also, instead of choosing a specific industry to specialize in, you can also specialize in like a type of copy. So things like VSLs, if you want to specialize in VSLs, if you want to specialize in webinars, if you want to specialize in long form written sales letters, if you want to specialize in email, if you want to specialize in ads or advertorials, you can do that. So what we're looking for here in option 1 is a specific specialty, a specific thing that you can hang your hat on. And then how that looks and how that's structured is when you're creating your marketing, when you're creating your website, when you're creating your social profiles, your LinkedIn, whatever it happens to be in that regard, we can talk about that in a minute, you're basically going to frame yourself as, I am name the industry copywriter, or you're going to do name the specialization for industry copywriter. Right? So let's look at what that means. That means if I do Lukas, the fitness copywriter, okay? Lukas, the financial copywriter, okay? Lukas, the VSL copywriter for the fitness industry. Lukas, the email copywriter for the supplement industry, right? Something like that. You see how this so quickly makes you into a specialist? Just by claiming that you have that specialty, then you are now looked at as one of the top dogs in that industry immediately, because I would challenge you to go find a copywriter that says this about themselves. There are very, very few copywriters who choose to niche themselves down this way, and those that do get a ton of work as long as they pick the right industry. I mean, you can't pick something like Lukas, the direct mail copywriter for the underwater basket weaving consortium, right? You don't want to do this, right? Don't niche yourself down into something ridiculous. You want to give yourself the benefit of being in one of these industries, but the specificity of being the only person or the main person to do that job for that industry. So ignore the little humor here and focus on the industry. Now, why, right? Why? Why would you niche down into an industry like this? Well, first things first, it makes you an immediate specialist. And what that does for you as an immediate specialist is it makes you the expert immediately. By claiming to be the VSL copywriter for the fitness industry, now all I have to do is essentially prove a little bit that I know and I've written VSLs for the fitness industry first off, and that I've gotten some decent results in that industry if I really need to. If you're just starting out, then all you really need 3 examples of the thing that you're claiming you're good at. 3, that's right. You just need 3 examples. So if you want to be the VSL copywriter for the fitness industry, then all you really need to do is go and write 3 VSLs for the fitness industry. Now, how do you write 3 VSLs? Well, first off, you can just fake it. You can write the VSL itself and even maybe voice over it yourself, get a voiceover to do it for you, upload it to YouTube and throw it up there. Boom, that's an example of your copy immediately. You don't have results for it because you haven't sent any traffic to it or sold anything, but you now have a written VSL to show someone, this is what I did for a fitness product. Boom, you have 3 of those. It should take you a couple days, maybe a week or 2 to write those out, upload them to YouTube, get the voiceover, done. Now you have 3 examples. What else you can do? You can go find cheaper clients in that industry, okay? What I would do, if you want to do that, if you care about building up your portfolio very quickly, is go to the Cult of Copy, go to the Cult of Copy job board, make an offer to write a VSL, email sequence, sales letter, whatever, for free. Offer to do it for free. Now what you do when you make that offer to do it for free, you put criteria, right? Criteria for the free offer. Must have a list, must test the copy, must pay me if it converts. Okay? They must have a list. I would recommend over 5,000. Over 5,000 people with an engagement of 20% or higher, right? Ideally, much, much higher than 20%, okay? Because you want 1,000 people to click at least. You must test the copy. Which basically just means they can't take it and run, okay? You can assuage their doubts by saying something like, we'll agree on the final version, something like that. Remember, you're not doing this to build your legacy. and like write the best letter ever. You're doing it exclusively to get your 3 examples in the real marketplace. Okay, that's it. That is all you're doing. And once you do this, you say you must pay me if it converts, charge a small-ish price, like $1,000, right? So charge a smallish price like $1,000, but say only if it converts, right? All it has to do is convert, and then you can agree on some sort of like conversion, like if it converts 1%, if it converts 0.5%, if it makes this much money, like whatever. It's not that difficult to do this for yourself. Now, I would focus on that because all you need are these 3 examples if you're going to become an immediate specialist in that industry, okay? Now, I will tell you, if you fake it, right, and people ask about results, it's going to be awkward because you're going to say, well, you know, I don't have any. I don't have results. Like, how did it convert? I'm not sure. If you fake it, that's fine. They're not always going to ask about results. They just want to see the samples, especially if you're starting at a lower price point. The type of clients aren't as sophisticated and savvy, so they just want to basically check the box that they ask for your samples. Now, with the finding cheaper clients option, then you might have to make this offer a few times. You might have to deal with some really shitty people, but what it's going to do is give you your 3 examples, and that's all you care about, 3 examples. Now, if you can get like a bonus and it works really well, then get a testimonial or 3, okay? You want the stuff to convert, but your main focus is to get these 3 examples that actually ran traffic and actually got some results. Now, once you've got the 3 examples, then you now are Lukas, the VSL copywriter for the fitness industry, okay? You are not the only one, obviously, be the best one, but when somebody sees this, the VSL copywriter for the fitness industry, and they're in the fitness industry and they want a VSL, you are now immediately the only one that they've ever seen to say that. And you are their perfect person, the VSL copywriter for the fitness industry. Okay, now you are in demand because you are a specialist. That's what I would recommend if you're starting out, if you are at this point where you're an apprentice, possibly even a journeyman, because if you are at one of these 2 points, the specialization is going to launch your career much faster and much easier than if you do it the second option, okay? So, and I'll save this and send this out as notes, although it's not going to make sense if you're not watching it with the video. So that is the first option, guys, to specialize in an industry or a market with a specific focus. Even if it's just the fitness copywriter, just the financial copywriter, just the relationship copywriter, even if it's just the SaaS copywriter. James, I know you were talking about SaaS products. Like if you are James Wilder, the SaaS product copywriter or the SaaS email copywriter, then now you're very, very specifically targeting one industry. And keep in mind, guys, one of the videos that you watched in the modules is you don't need 100 or 400 or 1,000 clients. You might only need 12 to 15 clients per year to make an amazing income. If you manage to earn $8,000 to $10,000 per job, which is extremely easy in the copywriting world, you only need 12 clients at $8,000 a pop to be a 6-figure earner per year. If you get 15 clients at $8,000 a pop, then now you're making about $130,000 a year. It's insane how you can scale this very quickly based on the small number of clients that you need. So don't think that by, niching yourself down like this, you're losing out on business. You only need 12, you only need 15, you only need 20, whatever it happens to be, whatever you're confident in charging and whatever your revenue goals are, you only need a couple dozen at the most in order to make those revenue goals. You do not need hundreds or thousands. You do not need this massive lead generation system. All you need is to specialize and find the right people to pay you the right amount of money. That is the most powerful thing I can tell you to do with niching down as a copywriter. Now, that's only option 1, okay? Option 1 is obviously what I would recommend if you're here for the apprentice or the journeyman level. All right, now let's say you're at journeyman level, maybe you're at master level, or even if you're at apprentice level, but you've got some steady income, you don't have to make this work as a full-time job, maybe maybe you're willing to stick it out a little bit longer and not specialize as quickly in exchange for something a little bit more powerful. Let me talk about option number 2, because that's what that is. And honestly, I'll be very honest with you. If I started over as a copywriter, I would do option 1. But now I'm about to tell you what I actually did as a copywriter and how I got to where I am. So take that with a grain of salt. If I could start over, I would do option 1, but I didn't. And this is how I made option 2 work. Option 2 is personal branding. Okay? Option 2 is basically marketing yourself as a prime copywriter. You are not Lukas the VSL copywriter for the fitness industry. In this case, you are Lukas the copywriter. So, when you look at Lukas the copywriter, when you're looking at Lukas the VSL copywriter up here, what's the focus of the statement? The VSL copywriter for the fitness industry. This is what matters. If you're analyzing this as a headline, this is what matters, right? Down here, this is what matters. Lukas, your name, James, Matthew, Brent. This is what matters if you're personal branding. How does that work? Well, now we get into things that are a little bit harder to do. Okay, you build up authority. How do you build up authority? Through content, examples, helping people, being visible, being everywhere, being around longer, having people talk about you, publishing content, being seen, all sorts of crazy stuff, right? Authority is all of those things and more, right? You have to cultivate what I call TOMA, top of mind awareness, okay? This also takes time, okay? It takes time to be personally branded as a top-notch copywriter, okay? The reason for that, this is what everybody else is trying to do without actually realizing that's what they're trying to do. And the problem with it is that there are so many people who say, I am a copywriter. I am the copywriter. I will write your copy. We'll write for food. We'll sell your stuff for food. Whatever you got to do. This is everywhere. And so what you need to do is prove that you are bigger than what everybody else is saying. You are more intelligent. You are more sophisticated. You are more savvy. You have more results. You have more testimonials. You have more everything. You are much bigger than everyone else who's saying I'm a copywriter. And when you build this authority, when you build this top of mind awareness, and you allow this time to grow everything, then what that turns into is a very powerful personal brand. And the powerful personal brand can launch you in several ways. So the powerful personal brand can give you a couple things. A platform for content sales. For example, one of the reasons that you joined me in this mentorship program is because you saw my offer in the Cult of Copy job board and you had some idea of who I was already because of this authority building, because of this top of mind awareness. You joined this program because you'd seen me before, because you'd seen what I do, and therefore you were trusting enough to join this program and be mentored by me. Okay, that didn't happen because I said I'm the VSL copywriter for the fitness industry. Now, a good example is a gentleman, you may or may not have heard of him or seen him recently, but his name is Jake Hoffberg, has come out of nowhere and said, I will teach you how to be a financial copywriter. Now, he's using this idea of a specific niche, specific type of writing. He's teaching you how to write short-form copy in the financial space, and because of the specificity with which he's teaching, like I will teach you to do exactly this, and the small amount of authority he has by being a writer for one of Agora's companies, then he's allowed to build himself a platform much faster. So don't think that this is the only way to do it here. This is just a powerful way to do it if you have the time and you have the patience to do it this way. Like I said, if I start over, I started over, I would be up here. But this is what I actually did. So this is what I'm telling you about now. So powerful personal brand can give you a platform for content sales. It draws referrals and business like a magnet. So once you've built this personal brand, and once you continue to build this personal brand, because it's not something you could ever stop doing until you're at John Carlton or Gary Vaynerchuk level, then it will start to draw people. I get private messages. They're accelerating now, but I typically get them 1 to 2 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week if it's fast. People reaching out to me and saying, hey, how can we work together? Hey, what are your rates? Hey, what kind of projects do you work on? That sort of thing. That's just people who reach out to me. That's not for my active outreach to other people. So this personal brand that I've cultivated and created over the last 4 years or 5 years is one where I have basically spent enough time in the marketplace where people are coming to be now. And you can see how that type of length is prohibitive for a lot of people, which is why I make this option 2. Another thing that you can do with a powerful personal brand is get bigger clients with just your name. So my most recent client that I just finished working with me reached out to me directly. And when I tell people, close friends, coworkers, things like that, who reached out to me and how we work together, it kind of makes them go, whoa, he reached out to you? That's kind of cool. And he's not an enormous bigwig or anything like that, but I also just got off the phone today with another potential client who is even bigger, huge, and I actually decided to turn him down because it wasn't in my wheelhouse, it wasn't in the right project. But if you knew this person, you're in this industry, you would go, wow, he reached out to you, or he got referred to you. It's one of those things where by building this personal brand and being known as a copywriter and having that place in the market, then you have that type of positioning that is available only to someone who has that level of presence in the marketplace. I'm not trying to brag. This is just an example of what I did and what I've built up until this point, and I'm not saying it's the best way to do it because there's a lot of places here to fail. This has not been an easy process for me. Like I said, if I could start over, I would go back and do this, or I would go back and do option 1. But what I'm doing now is beneficial for me in many different ways because I have more options. I will say though, with option 1, if you typecast yourself as the VSL copywriter for the fitness industry or the email copywriter for the supplement industry, then what starts to happen, you'll notice, is that your market will start to expand, or your current clients will say, hey, you wrote some great emails for us, do you want to write a sales letter? So even if you niche down to this extent, it's not always something that you're locked into. However, when people are talking to you initially, they will see you as the VSL copywriter for the fitness industry until you rebrand yourself. A really good example of someone who started here in option 1 and then is now trying to transition to option 2 is a gentleman by the name of Sean Vosler. You may or may not have seen Sean if you're in the internet marketing industry for a while, and if you just joined it or if you've only been in for the last years, all you've seen is Sean Vosler. But what you didn't see was about 3 years ago, between 3 years ago and prior, Sean was Sean, the WordPress guy, Vosler. That's all he did. He helped people implement WordPress. He helped people build marketing funnels in WordPress, help people fix WordPress issues. That was who he was. Now, what that did for him, when he was Sean, the WordPress guy, Vosler, that got him Frank Kern as a client. That got him Mike Vilsain as a client. That got him, I think he did some work with Tony Robbins. I'm not exactly sure. He got some big names because he was the WordPress guy, right? And everybody was having trouble integrating their WordPress. And so this was really, really hot at that point. However, when you're the WordPress guy, what do people come to you to ask for? WordPress help. Sean wanted to be known as something more. So Sean wanted to do equity deals. He wanted to build marketing funnels. So he took the WordPress guy out of his name. He actually wrote an entire blog about the death of the WordPress guy. That's what he called it, the death of the WordPress guy. You can probably Google that and find it. And he explained why he took it away, because it shoehorned him specifically with new clients. And so that's the danger of option one, but you can always transition out of it. It just takes some movement. And there's always some stuff behind the scenes where you have to kind of drop clients, say no to the wrong people that get mad at you and all that kind of stuff. So there are issues. There's pros and cons of both. But like I said, if I had to go back and do it, I would start at option one. I started at option two and built what I have. Sean is a good example who started at option one and transitioned to option two. So that is what I would recommend if you're choosing a niche, quote unquote, as a copywriter. Either option one, choose an industry or market and market yourself for that specifically, or do personal branding if you can afford the patience and time and you're willing to put in the amount of work for that amount of time, and basically not worry about paying your bills, money, that kind of stuff, because it does go in waves when you're trying to build a personal brand like this. I would go back and do it very differently, even if I had to choose this option, because now I know how to do it faster. So let me tell you how to build your personal brand faster. How to build your personal brand faster. Okay? This is how to build your personal brand faster. First off, clean up your social media. Right? Take out all the pictures of you looking stupid, of you drinking, of you wearing stupid clothes, of you, laughing with your friends, throwing eggs at someone's car. Whatever you got to do, clean up your social media. If you have to delete your social media and make a new one, do that. Because I had to do that. When I started in business, I thought, well, I'm not very professional because I just came out of college. So I just made a new social media platform. And it helped me clean up what I looked like. It helped me clean up who I wanted to be friends with and who I wanted in my network. And that's the first step to doing this. Clean up your social media. The next step, pick a tentative topic, okay? So if that topic is copywriting, if that topic is marketing, if that topic is advertising, if that topic is fitness advertising, it doesn't quite matter. You don't have to niche down nearly as much as option one, what we're talking about here, but you should still pick a tentative topic, even if it's just business. But you want to pick a topic that you want to be known for, not like this WordPress guy stuff, but more specifically, like people reach out to me for copy stuff. Back when I wasn't just a copywriter, people reached out to me for Facebook advertising stuff because that's kind of what I was working on at the time. Now, if you pick this tentative topic, my biggest advice is stick with it. So do not jump around. Stick with it. Don't jump like I did, because that definitely caused some issues. Like people were still messaging me for Facebook ad management when I wanted to be a copywriter, and it was frustrating. So stick with your topic. If it's copywriting, if it's advertising, marketing, fitness, business, fitness advertising, whatever it happens to be, pick a topic and stick with it. Now, the next thing is publish a piece of valuable, short, actionable content every single day. Every single day. Publish a piece of valuable, short, actionable content every single day. That is going to put you at the top of mind awareness for people in your network. That is going to start making people see you as an authority. That is going to help you build your content. It's going to help you build your ideas, and it's going to help you get more clients and start your process. This is how I would do it faster, right? I did not do this. This is what I would do and what I have started to do now. So publish a piece of valuable, short, actionable content every single day. Join some masterminds or forums in your chosen topic and add value. Don't pitch. Do not pitch. Okay? Do not pitch. Here's why I say don't pitch. Nobody responds to a pitch, especially in masterminds and forums. What they do see is when you post valuable content, and if it's truly valuable and not just self-serving, because you've seen self-serving quote-unquote value content, which is like this humble brag bullshit. What you really do is add a shitload of value to that person in the mastermind and forums. People who want to work with you will reach out to you because of the value that you added there. They will reach out to you. It's not something that you can cultivate as a steady stream, but the more consistent you are with adding value, the more consistent those outreach posts will be. They'll come to you, right? It's not the field of dreams thing if you build it, they will come. It's literally putting organic advertising that's valuable into somebody's face every single day. That's what it is. So how to build your personal brand faster? Join some masterminds or forums in your chosen topic and add value. Don't pitch. The next thing, this one's added, join the paid forums or join the paid groups. There's no real way around this, all right? I did this in the next level group mastermind, and I've joined dozens of programs and groups and forums and all that kind of stuff. So don't cheap out, okay? When you're building a personal brand, if you cheap out, people will see it and people will know it, and you just don't get anywhere, all right? But if they see you in a paid group, Next Level Group Mastermind is a $100 per month Facebook group with a forum that some people use, but mostly a $100 per month Facebook group. And this helped launch my career, helped me get a ton of clients, because the only people who pay $100 a month to be in a Facebook group are people who are serious, people who want to grow their business, people who care, because otherwise they're not going to join this free group, and they're going to hang out paid groups. They're going to hang out in the free groups like the Cult of Copy or the Internet Marketing Super Friends or these other vanity groups that people have started to try and grow a bunch of followers and seem important. The free groups are not a great place to find clients. The paid groups are. So if it costs you $100 a month to join a group or a forum or a mastermind or something like that where your ideal client is, then do it, because you're going to make that money back with the very first client you sell for 5 or 10 grand. Don't cheap out on this, especially if you're trying to build a personal brand. Now, build your personal brand faster. Clean up your social media. Pick a tentative topic and stick with it. Publish a piece of valuable, short, actionable content every single day. You can do that on your social media, like your Facebook. You can do that on your blog. You can do that on a podcast. You can do that on a newsletter or email list or something like that if people opt into. I would recommend starting with social media. Reason being, it's so easy for people to follow you on social media for free that it's impossible to not get followers if you're providing free content. A blog, people have to go find your blog. A podcast, people have to go find your podcast. A newsletter, people have to opt in to hear your stuff, right? There's more action involved on their part, whereas social media, they are there every day, especially Facebook, but YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, all of those places are also valuable if your target market is there. So once you picked your tentative topic and you know who you want to work with, then start publishing this short, valuable, actionable piece of content every single day on your social media, and then work your way out to more controlled mediums like newsletters or podcasts. That's what I would do there. So that's just building your personal brand faster. And there's a bunch of other stuff that I can tell you about, some of the mistakes that I made or some of the stuff that I would do differently now, how I would integrate these. I would say that right now we're running out of time in this particular hot seat for this particular topic, but there's a third option, which is the hybrid option, and I've kind of hinted at what that is now. Sean Bosler did a transitionary option where he was option 1 and then he turned himself into option 2. The hybrid option is basically to build your personal brand around a specific thing. Maybe not VSLs, because that's really specific, but it could potentially be there. So if you're choosing to be the fitness copywriter or the financial copywriter, then every piece of content you post is going to be around fitness copywriting. That's it. That's the hybrid option. So do both of these things at once. It's kind of complicated and a little bit harder, but that's the simple version. If you have any questions on this, message me in the group or bring them to the next Q&A call. I think this was some of the most valuable training that I've ever created, because this is actionable and this is something you can go do right now. In fact, this is a test. We're 54 minutes into the Q&A, or into the hot seat on week 8. This is a test to see who watches this content all the way through. If you're listening to this right now, I want you to go into the Facebook group and post and tell me which option you're picking and how you are going to take action on that option. Which option you're picking and how you're going to take action on that option. Do that after listening to this. I'm not going to announce it for the next few days to see who watches this, but that's going to be an assignment to make sure that we get this program good for you and working for you in the last few weeks. Thank you for your time today. Have an excellent day, and I will talk to you next week and in the Facebook group.